Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to the JeepSolid garage. So today, Sasha's car, Sulley, it's gonna get a makeover. It needs a little freshening up. It's got some paint issues. The top coat, the clear coat is flaking off. Let's take a look at that. So your car paint, it actually has a few different layers. And this flaking that we're seeing here, so this is the clear coat. So the shiny part, the clear coat is flaking off down to the paint color. So we've got the clear coat, the paint color, then under that we have a primer or base coat. If we sand this down, we're gonna sand down the top coat down to just this paint coat, and that's okay. If we break through to the primer a little bit, that's okay, but we wanna try to just get the top coat, the clear coat off. If we get it down to bare metal, then we need to put some primer down. I don't wanna have to do that, so we're just gonna give this a real light sanding to start with. So we're gonna start out by just doing the hood. We're gonna tackle this kind of as a small project. We're not gonna take on too much of it at once, okay?
Okay.
Because the rest of the vehicle is actually not in bad shape. The rest of the paint and clear coat is okay. Of course, the top, the roof has issues, which we will address later. But because this is a beginner project, we're just kind of figuring out exactly how to do this best to have it turn out well. We're gonna start with just doing the hood, which is a good starting point.
Perfect.
And my motto is, don't make it worse. There's our nice 4-liter engine. And this video is sponsored by Engine Tech. They have everything you need to keep your engine in great running order and repair any broken parts. They have new heads, valves, complete gasket sets, valve seals, crankshafts, camshafts. Be sure to check out their website, linked in the description below, for any of your engine part needs. All right, step number 1, we're gonna wash it real good. So next, we are gonna take the hood off and sand it, because it's gonna be just easier to paint where we don't have to tape everything off. So we're just gonna take this off the vehicle. All right, now this is the super fun part where we get to sand. This is the time consuming. The prep work is the worst part of this project. So you need a mask because you don't want to be breathing the dust that we're going to be kicking up. It's really bad for you. We've got some 320 grit sandpaper, and when we're sanding, we want to take off just this clear coat. Remember, we don't want to get down to the
metal.
Down to the bare metal. If we get down to the primer, that's okay, but so we're going to be sanding real lightly. We've got some sanding blocks here that we're going to use to just help kind of do the nice smooth areas. These areas that are indented, we're going to have to do just with our fingers with the sandpaper. We're not going to be able to use the sanding blocks. Okay?
Perfect.
All right, let's sand this down. And on these edges, we want to be super careful because you'll cut through those edges really quick.
Okay.
And we're just trying to get through the clear coat here. Areas where we're down to the paint already, you don't need to do a whole lot. We're just going to scuff that up. Like these areas that are down to the paint. But we're going to feather this back so it kind of blends that together. All these edges, okay?
Okay.
And these contours we got to do by hand.
Like this part?
Where it's indented, where it's curved. You can't use the block on that. All right, obviously we've brought the hood into the garage and hung it up, and hanging it vertically actually is a little bit to our advantage, so then dust or anything doesn't like fall and settle onto our fresh paint.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've been touching this with our hands, so we gotta clean off any grease and oils and final bits of dirt. And from another guy that paints a lot of vehicles, I saw he uses glass cleaner because it is streak free, it leaves no residue. It might be a little bit different than anything you guys have ever seen, but he says it works really well and he's had no issues with it. So why don't you take some glass cleaner and clean the entire hood with our lint-free rag. So now, right before we paint, you're gonna take a tack cloth and again, go over the entire surface. And that's exactly what it sounds like. It's a tacky cloth, so it'll pick up any bits of debris or dust. So I'm gonna be using this touch-up paint from paintscratch.com. And no, this isn't a sponsored video by them. I ordered this specifically to match the color of your Jeep. So from the make and model, I was able to look up exactly what color your Jeep is, got the exact color of paint from them. I think it's like $25 a can or something. It's not cheap, but it should be a perfect match. Except because your vehicle is 20-something years old, all of the rest of the paint can kind of fade a little bit, where this will be like fresh.
Okay.
So it might not be an exact perfect match, if that makes sense, because
Yeah.
the older stuff might be a little faded. But
Yeah.
remember, our goal is to don't make it worse.
Exactly.
And then just follow the instructions on the paint can that you get from whatever manufacturer you use. So we're degreasing it, priming, wet sand. We don't have to do any of that because we didn't take it all the way down to bare metal. We're gonna shake this for a minute, then we're gonna give it 2 to 3 light coats, waiting about 15 minutes in between each coat. So this should be fun. Of course, we're gonna be wearing a mask, a proper mask while we're painting, because this has toxic fumes. As we're painting, I'm gonna be keeping this about 10 to 12 inches away. And I wanna be real consistent. I don't wanna be like going in and out, right?
Okay.
I'm gonna start at the top and I'm gonna work my way down, because I don't want to go from the bottom up, because I don't want dust from my paint to drop down onto the sticky wet paint.
Okay.
So we're gonna start at the top and I'm gonna go all the way across in big sweeping motions, all the way past. I'm not gonna stop right at the edge. I'm gonna actually go past the edge a little bit. And I'm gonna do it horizontally like this all the way down. And then I'm gonna let it dry for about 15 minutes. Then I'm gonna do like, I think I'm gonna do like a diagonal, because we don't wanna get stripes. If you do all the same direction, you might end up with kind of a streaky looking paint. So you wanna change directions between coats. All right? All right, let's do it.
Oh, I thought you were gonna give me a high five. There you go.
I'm gonna be using my second can of paint. This is gonna be my 4th coat. So, you know, it says 2 to 3, but it's taking more. But the coats I'm doing are very light. But just for your reference, to do a hood, it's gonna take 2 cans. 1 is just not quite enough. So we've got, gosh, I think I did 4 or 5 coats on it. The paint's actually looking really pretty good. If I look super close, I can tell a little bit of striping. It's not a perfect job, but looks better than it did before. So now we're gonna sand it. We're gonna do a wet sanding just to take off any little bits of imperfections with some 1500 grit, super smooth sandpaper. And we just wanna give it a real light sanding, wet sanding. So you're actually gonna dip that in the water. I've got a little spray bottle, just sand it in some circular motion there, and just real light. And then you can also take a little bit of water, and we're gonna be just wetting it down while we sand. And basically you're just trying to cover the surface real quick. Don't hit any of these edges with that block. We gotta do the sharp edges by hand, okay?
Okay.
Alrighty. We're not really trying to take off the paint, you know, you don't want to go all the way through the paint. So just go real light and keep getting your block wet, because you want it kind of dripping off of there. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now it's got all this dust on it, so let's take some towels and we're gonna wash it off. Get some clean towels, start at the top, go down. And we're just wiping off all the dust that we just created. It's okay if it drips. And then get some new towels. And we're gonna do that till it's clean. Okay, let's dry it off now. And by let's, I mean you. Alright, now let's hit it with a tack cloth. Try to keep your hands off of it, like you don't want the oils from your hands on it. You can kind of hold it back in the hood if you want. Alright, now we got clear coat. So this was ordered off of Amazon. I'll be sure to link the clear coat in the description below. And this is a two-part system. There's a base in here and an activator. We're gonna put it together, hit the bottom to activate it. And then we've got, I think it's actually a couple days to use it. But we're gonna do it now, and we're gonna do an initial coat of just a really light coat, right? And then let that dry for a few minutes. It says it's good for 48 hours once it's activated. So then after we do that light coat, then we're gonna go back and do a heavier coat, a wet coat, all the way down. Let that dry, and then maybe do one final light coat on the top, and then we should be good.
Perfect.
All right. Hood painted, top coat done. Now we gotta cut and buff it. So we've got some Meguiar's Mirror Glage Ultra Cut Compound. This is exclusive super micro abrasive technology, and not regular micro, super micro.
Exactly.
So we've got our cutting compound. We're gonna polish this real quick to get a nice shine. We're gonna hit it with a microfiber towel. Make sure there's no dust on it. All right, let's put some polish on it. Okay, now pick an area like a quarter of the panel. Turn that upside down, just dab it a few times on the hood.
Like that?
Yep. And then pull the trigger in like swirling motions, a little faster.
I don't know how to pull it faster.
There. Let it get going. There you go. Go for it. Keep moving. All right, washed all that cutting compound off. All right, we are done. We just hit it with a little bit of paste wax, so the hood is looking great now. I would say it's 47 times better than it was.
Oh yeah.
So that looks so much better than it did earlier. There's still a few flaws because, you know, you're your own worst critic, so we can pick out all the little defects in it. Not a perfect job, but it's definitely a lot better. So our motto was,
Don't make it worse.
don't make it worse. So I think we're there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.